Hello and Grüß Gott. On this video we're going to be repairing our Klipsch subwoofer, model number RW12D120V. We've had this unit for about 10 years. It's made in China. Most of our Klipsch equipment was made in Hope, Arkansas, and we've never had any problems with any of it. So this one has finally failed. It looks like the power supply has gone out. So we're taking a T20 Torx bit, and we're going to remove these screws here and take this amplifier power supply assembly out and see what we find out. So we've pulled this amplifier and power supply assembly out. One thing I wanted to mention was that there's a fuse that's built into where the AC plug plugs in. It's going to be blown. The reason it blows is because something's wrong in here. So we're going to have to take a look at it and see if it's the rectifier diodes or the capacitors or just what. So when you pull this out, it's going to be tied in with a cable that goes to the display up top and also the speaker wires. And the speaker wires are wound around some other wires with a wire tie. So we're going to clip the tie, label everything. Definitely want to label before you pull it out. And then we'll take it all apart and pull the whole board out. So we're going to do that here in a second. At this point, I've taken the amplifier and power supply assembly out from the cabinet, and the way I did it is these, you just don't pull on these to get them loose, you have to actually unclip them. It's hard to see on this one. There's a little clip mechanism here that you push with like a screwdriver, and then it'll just unclip and pull right off. For example, over here on the speaker wires, I pulled back the insulation part, and you can possibly see the clip right there. So you push on it from this side with like a screwdriver, and it just unclips and pulls right off. If you pull on it, it'll break it loose. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the output transistors and the power supply, and I've separated them by unplugging this cable and unplugging these wires. So this section is separate from this. This is called divide and conquer troubleshooting. So I have my digital voltmeter. I'm going to set it on the diode checker setting. I'm going to check these output devices and see if they're good. To check these output devices, you want to have your digital voltmeter on diode checker and put the red lead on this leg furthest. Well, it's the one closest towards where the speaker connections are. And you're going to go in here and touch the far right hand leg, and it's going to read about a 0.5 volt diode breakdown. So that's good. And then if you'll check the middle lead, it also reads about 0.5 volts. So that device is good. And you do that to check each device. Now I just checked all of them. The outputs are all good. So I'm pretty sure this part is good. So I think we have a problem in the power supply. So I'm going to take the power supply board loose, and then I'm going to see if I can do some investigation. At this point, the power supply is out. I'm going to check this bridge rectifier. It's an all-in-one bridge rectifier. And these capacitors, they don't look bulged or anything, so I'm going to check them and see what I can find out. So to do that, I'm going to flip it over. And the bridge rectifier is right here. And if I measure across there, looks good. Looks good. But if I measure across here, I have a dead short. So the capacitors show a short. So something in this circuit is shorted at the moment. Not sure what it is because I don't have a schematic. I don't think this is a switching supply, but it might be. And so that may be actually a normal measurement method. So without a schematic, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to unsolder this device here and this one over here. Unsolder the leads so I can see if one of them is shorted. The only way to check it is to take them out of the circuit and see what I get. Because again, I don't have a schematic and I don't have a divide and conquer mechanism right here. And you can see there's a transformer right here, and I don't know how that relates to this DC portion of the supply. So basically this is taking 120 volts AC and turning it into some voltage DC. And so to check it, I have to isolate it. And again, to do that, I have to unsolder these components and see if that won't allow me to do that. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back. I spent some time trying to desolder some of the components on here so that I could do a divide and conquer with this power supply and try to figure out where the short circuit is. I suspect it's either the bridge rectifier right here, or perhaps one of these regulators, or there's like some diode, double diode packs. The problem is this board is got feed through vias, and it's got top side solder and bottom side solder, and it's a non-silver bearing solder, it's lead free. So when you try to wick it off, it's really difficult to wick off. I did have some success, but since I'm working blindly, I decided just to stop this because there's too much of a chance I was going to pull some lands off because you have to heat it up. And normally what I do is if I want to remove a component like one of these, I just clip the leads off and then heat up each lead and pull it out. But in this case, I don't know what's bad, so I would just be tearing stuff up to go that route. So I got on the internet and found out that you can buy a brand new amplifier that has the same power supply. It's this model 300S, and I got mine online, and I'm going to take the power supply out of here and put it into here, and then we'll see if we can make this subwoofer work again. And the power supply is identical. The difference is this other portion of the unit. So I should be able to just pop this out, pop it into the old one, and away she goes. So we're going to do that, and then we'll come back and see how it went. All right, so what we've done is we have reinstalled the amplifier module into the subwoofer box, and I'm getting ready to turn it on to test it. So here we go. Okay, the display lights up, and it has all of its various display screens. Looks like everything's good. So I'm going to set it up with my surround sound, make sure it still works, but I don't see any reason why not. I'd like to thank the person that had the short YouTube video on making the suggestion for taking this power supply out of another similar amplifier. And definitely that particular amplifier doesn't fit into this box. So otherwise we may have just swapped it. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Tschüss.